Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And going off of a couple of videos ago, we did a review on Libby's A45 AMG. So today, starting off with just cars that we got on our driveway, we're gonna have a look around mine. You lot are probably sick of looking around the BMW E36 by now, but quite frankly I can't get enough of it. I absolutely love the car, so why not show you around. Let me give my opinion on the car. Like I said in the previous video, some of my opinions are based on the physical car that I got right in front of me, i.e. maybe there's some scratches or some dents or some bodywork or modifications that I don't like on the car, and some things are going to be more specific to the car itself, to the actual BMW E36 platform. But without further ado, have a look at these videos that I've just taken of the car, looking around it, and then we'll get into talking and we'll go over the car, the specs, and me giving my opinion. So you just watched some videos of this car, me trying to make it look more glorious than what it is. It's not great. First thing I think everybody can see, even just from those videos, is the paintwork is what seriously lets this car down. It's in the pipeline, as you'd know if you've watched the videos, but as you can see, I'll try to show you around like the bumper area. The paintwork is pretty crazy. It seems to have taken quite the battering. I know there's no fog lights, but they're actually in the back of my work van ready to go in. So there's that as a whole. What do I think of the car? I think they're amazing looking cars, considering this is a 1996. You can tell it's a 1996 just because of how boxy the car is. However, the way it drives, you wouldn't think it's a 1996. Which is incredible. So before we go any further, let's talk about some facts about the car. So talking about the E36 323i, it's a 2.5 litre 6-cylinder engine with 170 brake from factory. I believe this has a remat ECU on it though, but I don't know what it's running because I've never put it on a dyno. So truthfully, unsure on the figures. All the power goes straight to the rear wheels, which from factory come with an open diff. I believe, don't quote me on it, but the only E36s that come with a LSD were the M3s. I could be wrong though, maybe a couple of the 328i's had it. 5-speed gearbox with a 0 to 60 in a whole 8 seconds, which, may I add, that is quite literally double the time of what the A45 would do it in. Maybe even a bit more than double. So by no means are these cars quick. Pretty fast for what they are, but are they quick? Not really. But the drivability of them is incredible. Obviously this car in particular is finished in Montreal blue, one of the best colours I think that come on the E36s. I know you've got like the British racing green, you got like the lighter blues, and I think it's like a teal sort of colour. If I can find a photo of one, I'll put one in, but personally this blue is one of my favourites, which is why I was really attracted to buying this one in specific when I was trying to look for another E36. So that's the general specs of it. Let's look around the car a little bit. Seems as we started by talking about specs, why don't we have a look under the bonnet and see what we're actually dealing with. So there is the 2.5 litre 6-cylinder engine, like I said, producing 170 brake horsepower from factory. As you can see, there's an aftermarket filter on there that's looking a little bit worse for wear, so that certainly will be replaced at some point. May I add, when I got this car, a lot of the things that I've done on it were there when I got them. For example, these HID bulb leads were already there. Obviously, as you'll see in the previous video, I did put in the halos. That was me. So there's a little bit of wiring down here that I need to tidy up that I've done. However, as a whole, most of the things we've done it. Pretty tidy engine bay, very minimal rust in here, so it's quite a nice place to be. There's no leaks on this engine, despite the typical BMW obviously stereotype of it's always leaking. It doesn't appear to burn much oil. I've literally, quite literally, not for this video, but before filming this video, I've done a 200-mile journey in it. This car in particular has had a new cooling system. I don't know if you can see, but that's a brand new radiator. The thermostat housing's new, so I'm guessing the thermostat's new. A lot of this has actually been refreshed, which is really nice to see. There's no leaks anywhere down in the engine, but that is the engine bay of the E36 323i. So after that, let's have a little bit more of a look around the car. So if we start in in my opinion, the most disappointing place of this car is the boot. Obviously, the central locking on the boot doesn't work because I need to replace the actuator on it. But as you can see, the boot is bare. The carpet was absolutely knackered. Obviously, this bit here is usually hard. It was just soft and it was broken in multiple places. So I just got rid of it. I need to get something to replace it. Other than that, we've got the side carpets. I have got this bit of trim that goes here. I just need to tie these wires back up and go. We've got a half completed toolkit, which is a bit unfortunate. Toe and I never thought I'd ever see that. This is hanging off a little bit. But that is where my attention has been least at the moment. It is next to come, but that is all that's in the boot of this car. So let's move to the front. So if we start at the front of the car, we've got the lights, we've got the clear lens indicators. Obviously you can see the little rings that I've put in, and they changed the indicators. It sort of gives like a modern flick on quite an old car. We've got the M Sport front bumper. Did it come on the car from factory or not? I'm not entirely sure, if I'm honest with you, but they are an incredible looking bumper. It did have like a massive split, like there's the splitter extension right here, but then when I got it, there was another splitter extension that took it out to like there. It was crazy. That was the first thing I took off of this car. We come around to the wheels. M3 replica wheels. Yes, unfortunately they are replica wheels. I tried to have a look on the back for them for any stamps, but I couldn't see them. But going into there, we got some nice drilled and slotted brakes. I don't know if you can really see, with some EBC yellow stuff pads, hence why my wheels are like this. Behind there for the suspension, we got IBAC lowering springs on some standard shocks, brand new lower arms, brand new engine mounts, brand new gearbox mounts, the lot. This car has had quite the refresh. Coming around, you got these wing mirrors, which are M3 style wing mirrors. They're not real carbon fibre, unfortunately, but they look okay. I'm warming up to them. I said in a couple of videos ago that I really wasn't a big fan of them, but I'm actually warming up to them. It's just the mirror glass that I don't really like. Obviously, typically we're missing trim here, but we've got most of the trim, which is nice. Obviously, side skirts are from factory. Coming back round to the rear, we got these, again, these replica wheels. They're not in bad condition, and they don't look too bad, but I do think I want some different ones, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, with the brakes on the rear, we've got the slotted and drilled. Nice new pads in there, and again on the back with some lowering springs. We carry on coming around. Exhaust is aftermarket. We will listen to the sound of it in a little bit. Normal tail lights. We got this spoiler. The third brake light stopped working, so truthfully I just took it out. The wiring is there, but I need to try and dig the wiring out and redo it. Again, M Sport rear bumper, or Valance, whatever you call it, but the back end is fairly standard. Apologies about the plane you can hear in the background, it's pretty crazy. There is the look from the back. And again, obviously coming around to this side, we just got general stuff. This side is a little bit more beaten than the other side. So like this rear arch, you can see it's all pretty solid, but it's definitely started bubbling, so it needs to be taken back and sorted out. There's been a little bit of a scratch here, and obviously that wing is unpainted, because if you know anything about BMWs, here is the wing, but wow, this is the side skirt. Behind here is the wing, holds water and absolutely rots itself. So that is why that wing is unpainted, because I took it off, realised I can't put that back on. When I bought the car, it came with 2 more, so that is what I was left with. So that is the exterior of the car. Let's start looking interior. So before I finish and go on the inside, let's talk about the outside a little bit more. I think the car, to me personally, I think it looks 10 out of 10. I love it so much. Favourite BMW model going. It's why I've had this, is my 3rd one now, because I just love them. And it's got a good engine in it, which is why I got this one. But the paintwork is really, really shoddy on this car. Don't get me wrong, I've seen a hell of a lot worse, but there's just so many little places on this which takes the attention off the car. The unpainted wing, the little bit of bubbling on the arch, the tatty front bumper. So yeah, it looks brilliant. It's a 10-foot car. From 10 foot away, looks amazing. You get a bit closer and you start realising all those imperfections, especially up here. I don't know if you can see that around the sunroof. Like, I'm led to believe this car's had paint before and it's just not been prepped very well, which is why, you know, I'm now holding a bit of the paint from the sunroof in my hand. On another that, the sunroof actually works. I need to give it a bit of a grease and a service, but the sunroof actually works, which is incredible. I never thought for 1 minute that the sunroof would work. So yeah, and before we go into the interior, I'm going to do the sound. I'm going to start up the car, let you hear it, because I haven't done that yet. So let's cut to you hearing the car, and then we'll finish off by going on the interior. So that's what the car sounds like. Not a bad car. A little bit of an exhaust rattle, because I think one of the exhaust mounts is a little bit, don't want to say dodgy, but not quite factory. Let's just say that. I need to open this door because it's very, very warm in here. So here we are in the interior. Excuse, I've got all my camera gear on the passenger seat next to me, so you have to bear with that. But if we start off by just looking at the steering wheel and the dashboard, what that all looks like, give you a feel of what it's like to be in here. At the moment, we just have base spec cloth seats. It did come with some nicer leather seats, however, they were painted a horrible cream colour, like underneath here. I've painted the top of this because they painted that as well. So yeah, they had to go like immediately. So I just went on Facebook Marketplace, found the first set of seats that I could find, and I bought them. And they were only 50 quid, and they come in here because they were 10 times better than that horrible, horrible coloured leather that was in there. They were grey. This was a grey spec interior. I've been working my way around it. Let me show you around, and then I'll let you know my opinion on what it's like being in this car. So here we are as we sit in the driver's seat. This is very, very annoying. However, this steering wheel is very old. As you can tell, it twists around a lot. Somebody's put electrical tape there, which has now, obviously, the glue on it has gone so sticky and tacky. And I tried to peel it off to clean the glue, but didn't exactly go to plan. So unfortunately, that's just stayed there. And I will be getting another steering wheel at some point. Some of you might know this steering wheel is actually out of an E30, I believe. It's an E30 steering wheel. Obviously regular dials, and then we come along here to the entertainment system. Unfortunately, this is really really low spec sort of vehicle, no aircon, no cross climate for either side of the vehicle. My old E36 did have that, however this one didn't. Wasn't too bothered, may retrofit it if I can be bothered, and I end up taking the dashboard out. Got the clock, little cubby hole, cigarette lighter. This little hole is usually, there's a red light there which will be down in this cluster of wires. when you lock the vehicle, it like flashes red to show you that it's locked. Obviously I haven't got the gear gator because I threw it away because I believe there was a rip in it, or it was this horrible cream colour. The same goes for my handbrake gator. However, all of this here, that was always black, but this was all like this kind of grey. I'm in the process of making everything black, so the door cards I've changed black. I haven't reinstalled the inserts yet because I'm in the process of attempting to retrim them, just like I did the headliner. What an awesome way to introduce the headliner. So the headliner was retrimmed, however sagging, so I retrimmed it again in suede. I don't really know if you can tell. Oh yeah, that picks up quite well. Is it a perfect job? No, there's some areas where it's a little bit baggy, but it looks like here you see it's a little bit, but just looking from there you can't even really tell. This bit is for the sunroof, slides back and forwards. However, I don't know where the bit that attaches to this has gone, so I need to get a bit creative and do something with that. I might just clean it off and leave it black. Saves trying to take it out and disturbing that sunroof. Obviously this door card's also black. Got our glove box, everything's just grey. And then back here, I haven't done anything back here. Excuse the high vis, I need that sometimes for work. Obviously that's what the door cards did look like, the black with the the grey with the whitish sort of inserts. That's what the front ones did look like. I've taken the inserts out and I've started making them black. But it is what it is. So there is a little bit to do in here. Obviously, being a very old car, here's a perfect example to show you the speaker. These are crap. Very old. Will that focus on that? Nokia speakers. Very, very old speakers. Probably the original speakers that come in the car. I know the ones that go down by your feet, because usually in your generic car you have like 6-inch-ish speakers in your doors, and then you have like a tweeter sort of like in your like wing mirror area or on your A-pillar. This way is the other way around. It's really weird. The 6-inch speakers are like down by your 6-inch speakers are down by your feet, and then your tweeters are in your doors. So I need to replace them. The ones down by my feet have been replaced, but they are crap. They are just cheap eBay unbranded speakers. Then I do want better ones, however that will just come in time. Just sort of chipping away at the car nicely. Anyway, I'm getting off track. This is for a review. So overall, the interior, it's a nice place to be ish. There's some drawbacks. Obviously I've got this little thing here, which is like a 3D printed cup holder that goes down here, you see, just like that. However, you can't really fit a can in it because this bit isn't wide enough to hold a can. So that is a letdown. Obviously, a lot of BMWs suffer with the lack of cup holders. So that 2 out of 10 really bugs me. I like a cold can of drink, nice cold white Monster. Nowhere to put it. You can wedge a can in there, but it's more hassle than what it's worth sometimes. Electric windows, electric sunroof, that's all good for a 1996 car. That's brilliant. Comfy, the seats are comfy. The old leather seats I actually come with were comfy too, but you know, so yeah, overall it's a comfy place to sit. The steering wheel, so you can adjust it up and down. So you can move the steering wheel down, you can move the steering wheel up, but you can't bring it in and out. And that's a real drawback for me because I sit quite far back because I'm fairly tall. And my arms end up sitting quite like fully extended like this. So if I could, I'd like to bring that steering wheel towards me a little bit. Unfortunately I can't. So that is a letdown of the car. There's like little things in the new car that I wish this had. I know I can retrofit this with like cruise control for long drives. You can retrofit cruise control for these cars because some of them did come with it, like the really high spec ones. But the kits are getting expensive now. The people that are selling them, they're selling them for a lot of money. So will I do it? Will I not? I'm not sure. But overall, interior and the drivability, it's a really nice place to be. Definitely some bits that could be modernised, but overall I'd give the interior and being in here to drive probably about 7 or an 8 out of 10. Like I said, there's a few bits that I can scrub up on. Nice armrest, You know, if it was a 6-speed as well, that'd be so much better. Again, just for motorway driving or if you're on long journeys. Yeah, so I'll give that good with 7.5 out of 10. Age shows in some areas, that's all I'm sort of getting at. If it had air conditioning as well, that'd be great, because it gets very, very warm in here. Especially on a hot day like today, it's getting warmer in here as I speak. So let me jump out of the car, let me talk a little bit more, and then I'll give my overall rating of the car. So as we know, these BMW E36s are beginning to hold silly sort of value. They are a good car, and they're old and becoming classic now, I say. But they do hold some stupid value. So I guess the overall question is this car worth the money? Like, you can see some 328i's on the internet now on Auto Trader. Some are creeping up to between 10 and 15 grand for these cars. Is it worth it? Would I pay 10-15 grand for one? If it was in absolutely mint condition, then yes, possibly. But if you're looking on Facebook Marketplace and you want one in this sort of condition, you're looking anywhere between like 4 to 6 grand from what I can see, because not a lot of them are readily available, which shows in the pricing of some of these vehicles. So I guess the ultimate question is it worth it? Ultimately, I'm gonna say no. Me personally wants to say yes, because I absolutely adore these cars, but I'm going to say no, because the average person and the average car is being drifted, it's been absolutely caned for the back end of its life, and you're going to be paying 4, 5, 6k for a car that most likely has had a hard time. I don't think this one has had a hard time. The guy that I got it off, like I said, he's rebushed everything. The whole rear subframe's polybushed, the whole front end's rebushed, the engine mounts are done, the gearbox mounts are done, the lower arms are done, the suspension's done. Like, when I got this car, I didn't really need to do a lot to get it roadworthy. I just had to put some new handbrake cables on, I had to sort some anti-roll bar links out, and just some general stuff to get it through an MOT. But ultimately, I wouldn't say that they're worth the money. If you really love the cars and you're passionate about an E36, then yes, they're worth every penny. But if you're just looking at one because you're not really sure if you're going to like it, I'd recommend probably trying to find a cheaper one, maybe one that has knowingly been worked hard in its life, and you can get that for a cheaper price. But ultimately, I would still give this car a good probably 7.5, 8 out of 10 rating in Sean's book of ratings, because again, this car, I guess you could say, holds nice place in my heart, because I just love them so much. I've always loved them. I probably always will love them. I may or may not probably end up keeping this for a very long time, and hopefully not getting rid of it if I don't have to. But we never know. We never know what's happening next. So yeah, that is it for this car review. That is what I make out of the E36. They hold silly value. I understand why, but at the same time, I don't, because they are just an ordinary coupe. A lot of the BMWs are, I find, very similar. Like, you go to an E46, which is obviously the next generation up from the E36, and not a lot has really changed. They curved the headlights a little bit more on the front, they changed the rear lights, but as far as interior goes, it's sort of just facelifted. If you get like a really early E46, like a pre-facelift 46, the interiors are almost identical. Like, they've changed a little bit, but not a lot at all. So ultimately, you could get an E46, if you're not bothered on what the headlights and the tail lights look like, you could get a really early E46 for probably half the price and still enjoy the same cars, because I'm pretty sure that early E46s are still OBD1 and they share the exact same engines. So unless you're buying this car for exactly what it's for, being a 90s car, having that boxy look on it with the sharp body lines, then I'd recommend just buying an E46, a pre-facelift, if you want it for just the drivability of the car. I wish people would stop buying these cars just to drift them into death, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, the cars are getting rarer, they're getting harder to find. I'm just looking at it now, and they are beautiful cars, but they're being used for the wrong reasons. Stop drifting E36s. They are cheaper and worse cars that you can go and ruin. Leave the E36s alone. Yeah, so that concludes my review of this car. This is my car. Obviously there might be a little bit of bias from here and there, however that's just how I feel about the car. Like I said, I've had 3. There's a reason I've bought 3, and I would buy a 4th. Let's just say that I'd buy a 4th. I'd recommend getting one. I wouldn't recommend paying the world for it, because realistically they're not worth the money that people are asking, but they are only because there's not a lot of them around. That's why people pay the money. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you think about getting an E36, I hope a little bit of a look around and an insight by somebody who owns one has helped your decision. Or if you're just generally interested in E36s and you want one before they are near impossible to find, I'd recommend buying one now. Even if you buy one that is literally barely running, barely anything, and restore it, you'll be doing something good. So yeah, take it as you will. I love the car. 7.5 out of 10, because it doesn't tick absolutely every box. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Share this to anybody who's got an E36. See if their opinions agree with mine. Do your opinions agree with mine? Let me know in the comments. And if you know anybody that's trying to get an E36 or wants one, show them this video, because it may convince them or it may put them off. So yeah, enjoy the video. Thank you very much. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.